Welcome to this week's episode of SWOO 2. I'm Anna, and this is my co-host Tim.
Hello.
If you want to pick our first topic.
Crazy things that happen on Halloween.
So, Halloween is, people party, they do drugs, they drink. Preferably only at adult Halloween parties. Please don't do it at children's Halloween parties. So, a lot of crimes happen on Halloween that might be unusual. We have a list of some of our favorite ones here. If you want to read off one of yours.
In Alaska, a 9-year-old in Fort St. John was reportedly punched in the face. While the boy was down, a thief stole his bag of candy and drove away in a car. Also, a man successfully robbed a convenience store using a can of bear spray as a weapon.
That's pretty severe. There was an SNL sketch a while ago. It was Drake and Andy Samberg, excuse me. They were performing a song called Bag Jacking, and it was all about teenagers assaulting little kids and stealing their candy. Pretty sure that was for comedy purposes only. Just a tip. I'm really curious about what those charges were, if he was actually charged for assault. That sounds pretty severe. One of my personal favorites was that a man in Georgia stole a forklift and then used it to rip an ATM out of a bank. And they only caught him because they noticed the GPS tracker in the ATM was moving. So they followed him and they found him with an ATM and forklift. Really want to know what those cops were thinking. I would not go out on duty that night and be like, man, someone's probably going to steal a forklift and an ATM. It's unusual, to say the least.
Wonder if he figured out how to open the ATM.
It's really true. What was he going to do with the ATM after you rip it out? Because, they need a credit card to get your money. So what was he expecting to do with that? Some people don't think their plans all the way through, and they really should.
Well said.
Thank you.
Another one of my favorites was in Michigan, a woman allegedly attacked her boyfriend with a sailfish, cutting his hand.
Okay, what caused that to happen? Who gets into a fight and decides that the nearest weapon is a fish? Especially a sailfish. Like, were they at home? Did they just have a complete sailfish at home? A lot of these circumstances need explaining. I need to know why they happened and whether some of these people were under the influence.
I'm sure they were.
At least a few of them. Some people don't go into this sober and go like, man, I want to steal a forklift tonight. Maybe steal an ATM, that sounds pretty great.
Good time.
So I need explaining for this one as well. In North Dakota, a man tried to steal cheese from a grocery store, and then when they tried to catch him, he started throwing the cheese at his captors in an attempt to get away. What kind of cheese was he throwing? Was it shredded cheese in a bag? Was it those 9-pound blocks? Because those would hurt. Have you ever been hit by one of those?
No, I have not.
They hurt. Just take that. They hurt. There's also the Kraft singles in the little packs. He could have been throwing those. There's really no explanation.
Kind of hope he was throwing the cheese, like round cheese, like Gouda almost.
Oh, like the really fancy cheeses you get at like Whole Foods, and they come in like the little 10-pound circles.
Yes.
And you serve them at like dinner party. Yeah.
I've seen that.
That would be interesting to say the least. And then in Alabama, from outside a police station, a man stole a giant painted oyster shell. They're painted with the maps of Mobile Bay, which is where it was probably taken, and they're all over the city's downtown. He stole just one of them, outside the police station. If there were numerous, why would you take the one outside the police station? You probably could have gotten away with one from a different location a lot easier. Just a tip.
In Arkansas, 2 Jonesboro teens were arrested after allegedly breaking into 5 buses and stealing 5 or 8 fire extinguishers.
Why do you need 8 fire extinguishers?
Maybe they're trying to help the forest fires out over here.
That seems extreme, though. There's only 2 of them. Why do you need 8?
Good point. And also they're in Arkansas. That's a good amount away.
Yeah, that is. That is far away with 8 fire extinguishers. Really? Oh, what's... Because I've seen some people who use, like, fire extinguishers and they, like, attach them to things and they can make them, like, float for a short period of time or, like, fly, like, you know, like false jetpacks. I wonder if they were attempting to do that. Because 8 fire extinguishers.
I would do that.
You have bad judgment, Tim.
I do. I really do.
And then over in Nebraska, a drunk woman broke into a zoo after hours and attempted to pet a 3-legged tiger. Needless to say, it bit her. She was drunk, so, I mean, a little credit on her part. I really hope she wouldn't have done that sober, but she went into a tiger's den and expected to come out fine. So, yeah, and the tiger will not be punished. The tiger he's fine. It wasn't his fault. It was the drunk lady's fault. I'm so sorry. The tiger's name is Mai. Pray for Mai. So that's all the crazy Halloween crimes we have that weren't major or serious. So our next topic is... Okay, so a lot of people have been finding things like needles and razor blades in their candy this year, in at least 3 different states. So that's pretty serious, because there's always the rumor of, like, if you take candy, there'll be, like, needles and razor blades in it, but no, there hasn't really been any official statements stating to the point until this year. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I'd say bad.
Yeah, it's been happening in Minnesota and Massachusetts. People found needles, and in Ohio, some parents found a razor blade in their child's Snickers bar. That's a little worrying. And then over in Rhode Island, some guy was handing out cough syrup to kids. I mean, maybe he just wanted them to have fun the adult way, but no, he's a child. They are children.
I want to know what flavor it was. That's what I want to know.
Okay, but pretty much all cough syrup tastes like children's tears.
It does.
Especially the grape stuff.
Grape's the worst.
So, what do you think about Halloween candy? Like, after this year, is it important to be checking your child's candy?
Yeah, especially with all these recent reports of razor blades and other lethal items in candy. I think, yeah, if you got a kid, you should look at their candy under like a lamp. Make sure there's nothing being tampered with.
I'm also really curious about how he was distributing the cough syrup. Like, did he just hand it out in little Dixie cups? Or, like, how was he doing that? I mean, obviously there was like some kind of adult who noticed him doing it. Was he sprinkling it over candy? And I'm so confused. I'm so curious. So yeah, there's a lot of dangerous things happening this Halloween. Choose wisely what parties you go to and what you choose to do with your time. If you're off attacking people with fish and stealing ATMs, that might not be the wisest choices you could ever make. So keep that in mind. Any other thoughts?
You should just binge watch on Netflix on Halloween.
That's true. Netflix actually doesn't have bad horror movies this time of year. Free horror movies. Go Netflix. So that's all we have for this episode. I'm Anna, and this was Tim.
Goodbye.
Have a great week, Saxons.